Chopstick Travel. I'm Luke Martin, and today I'm in Glodok, Indonesia, otherwise known as Jakarta's Chinatown. This is a historic Chinatown in the center of Jakarta, the oldest in Indonesia. And today we're going to take you on an updated 2024 street food tour of Glodok. We're gonna sample all the famous things that you should try when you visit Jakarta's famous Chinatown. Let's go eat. Just like every other day of my life, starting the day with coffee, but here in Indonesia, Jakarta, Chinatown, that means kopi susu, so coffee with milk in this really old school cafe. Get our energy for the day and then start eating. We're down one of the many alleyways of Jakarta's Chinatown, and we're not sticking strictly with Chinese food today. We have something that's very Indonesian, right?
This is Indonesian,
Yeah.
and especially part of Java and also Jakarta.
Okay, and this is called Ketoprak.
Ketoprak, yes, correct.
Basically, it starts with a peanut-based sauce that he adds some chili, some garlic, kind of grinds that down, and then the main components are the ketupat, compressed rice cake, and then tofu.
Tofu, that's the most important part.
Yeah, fried tofu.
Fried tofu.
And then it's topped with these noodles, right?
It's vermicelli noodles,
Vermicelli noodles,
some bean sprout, some chopped cucumber, and of course, kerupuk.
Yeah, and a little bit of shallots on
Fresh
top, and
shallot,
you can
yeah.
see this is the real flavor right there. All that peanut sauce at the bottom. Should we try?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, this one is special of this area, and also part of Java as well.
It's like a peanut butter, super creamy, but you've got the garlickiness in there. You've got a hint of spice, definitely not too spicy. It just smothers the whole dish in that sauce, though. There's so much of it on the bottom.
And a hint of sweetness from the ketchup manis.
Yes, he put quite a bit of ketchup manis on top of there as well. And the tofu is just awesome. It soaks up the flavor. This is like a really good breakfast dish because, you know, in Canada we like to have like peanut butter toast. This is sort of like Indonesian peanut butter breakfast. I wouldn't say it's toast at all, but
Well, sometimes you also put fried egg on top.
fried egg on top. Oh yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, it's good. Another important component that I think we forgot to mention is those bean sprouts in there too. Bean sprouts. And here in Indonesia, you'll have so many dishes with the ketupat, the compressed rice cake. So if you're not familiar with it, you will be once you come to Indonesia. So many subtle variations of dishes here in Indonesia. It gets pretty confusing. That's why I've got this guy with me. Really delicious. That peanut sauce is just so full of flavor, and a really humble little push cart stall, but super popular, serving like over 100 plates of that every single morning. One thing that is somewhat unique about Indonesia's Chinatowns is more or less you'll find a mixture of halal and non-halal foods, which you won't really find in other Chinatowns around the world. It's mostly going to be all non-halal foods. So the next dish we have isn't halal. This is a pork noodle dish from a nice gentleman here that has been selling noodles out of this street food cart since 1987. That is just insane. Almost 40 years he's been set up here on the side of the road selling just one dish, one noodle dish, but you gotta master it. If you're selling it for that long, you know it's gonna be good, and this is the final result here. It's a beautiful egg noodle, and what makes it unique is that he's added this water spinach in it. So it's a water spinach pork noodle, so he basically just blanches the egg noodles and then he tops it with his magical porky soup broth. Let me try some of this out. This is serious street noodles here. It's definitely leaning on the sweet side. I'm surprised at how sweet it actually is, but I love the crunch of the bean sprouts and the water spinach in there, and then those egg noodles are beautiful. It tastes like probably homemade egg noodles, really good quality noodles. It also has a little essence of caviar lime in there as well. Let me try to find a piece of pork here. Try some of the pork. It's just little chopped up bits of pork. Wow, really good. Really good. Super satisfying. Since 1987 out of this little street cart. I love places like this. They just look so unassuming. Your expectations might be a little bit low after maybe seeing the atmosphere, but then once you taste it, it just completely changes your mind. So full of flavor and super cheap too. That was only, I think it was 15 or 20, super cheap. So we've hit pretty much strictly street food stalls. Everyone so far we've gone to today has been serving out of a wooden street cart, wooden or metal street cart. Super traditional, old school here in Glodok. And this is something you're also going to see all over the place here in Indonesia. It's called bakso or baso. It basically just means meatball. So you can see this meatball dish is served with thick noodles here, and there's also some tofu in there. It's a very simple and cheap dish once again, but it is beloved by Indonesians across the country. You can find bakso everywhere. Let's try one of the meatballs. It should have a nice kind of bouncy texture to it. It's not like an Italian meatball or anything that just kind of crumbles in your mouth. This is like a fish ball almost. The texture is really bouncy, and the broth is quite salty. Some shallots, some green onions on top. Actually, it's really good. It's really, really good. I love bakso. Let's try some of his noodles. It's super flavorful. A little bit of a spice too. And then we've also got some tofu in there. I love tofu. So good. And the atmosphere here is just so intense. All these narrow little alleyways. It's like a labyrinth here in Chinatown. Motorcycles going by, locals going by, music playing. It's just a feast for all your senses. So we just spotted this couple selling Pisang Goreng, fried bananas. So he takes a couple bananas that have been cut in half, and I think 3 pieces at a time, and sort of smashes them together into like a flat banana patty almost, and then fries it up golden crispy, double fried actually, and then this is the result. I love fried bananas, but this one's kind of unique because it's not like the banana shape anymore. It's like a little sort of banana patty. It's nice and sweet, but I love how it stays kind of sour. They use this really ripe bananas. They got a ton of bananas, and it's got that crispy exterior. Oh, fried bananas is really delicious, guys. It's like a dessert and a snack and a meal all in one. It's got to be healthier than fried chicken, right? It's bananas, so you can eat way more of it. Really tasty pisang goreng, fried bananas, and I have to say I have a really deep respect for street food vendors in general. I mean, it's probably 36 degrees out here. They're selling things for like less than $1. They're working all day long, frying, cooking, whatever they're doing, and sometimes waking up in the middle of the night to start preparations for the day, and just very humble and always super friendly and very welcoming to foreigners like me when I come to try their food. So I just have to say super respect for these guys.
Kalau sate porsi berapa besar? 10 Pak. Ya, 10.
Yep. Come to this next little stall that's serving something called Soto Tangkar, and they've also got satay. They grilled the beef satay right on the charcoal, directly on the charcoal, and the broth of the soup just smells so incredible. It smells like coconut. You got basically a mystery basket of mystery meats, different cuts, and
All cuts.
yeah. What were you telling me about the history of this dish?
Yeah, Tangkar came from Dutch colonial era. At that time, all the good cuts of meat
Yeah.
consumed by the Dutch.
Went to the Dutch. Yeah.
Yeah, also the local left with trimmings and stuff, including
yeah.
the bones and the innards and stuff. So they have to be creative and make this kind of a lot of spices to actually cover the smell and turmeric
Yeah.
and stuff. So make this soto tangkar. Now, of course, mostly beef.
Yeah.
But of course, they still have like feet and innards because
Right.
we love taste, not because we cannot afford the beef. And they also make the some satay to
Yeah.
accompany with the soto. And the broth is very nice
Yeah.
because from the turmeric and the coconut milk, very good.
So nowadays we have the opportunity, the pleasure of enjoying the same broth,
Yeah.
but with the premium cuts of meats, not just for
Now we are the Westerners.
the
to say.
Westerners nowadays. So I ordered just with the meat, the regular cuts of meat. It actually looked like a nice piece of
Actually, I
almost
sneak a
brisket.
little bit of feet there.
Oh, maybe a little bit of feet found its way in there. Yeah, I think that's what that is there. And this broth just smells incredible. It reminds me of another dish that Ari and I have had together called Soto
Yeah.
Betawi.
This is like the close cousin of soto Betawi. A little bit different, the spice. And soto Betawi always use the mixture of coconut milk and milk. This one only coconut milk.
Oh my god,
How is it?
that broth is crazy. It's full of flavor. Yum. Really tender beef, and the broth is like
This one, the feet is so tender.
tangy, kind of a little bit of a sourness in there. I feel like there's some tomato in there, some chili, and the coconut is just a really strong flavor of coconut. Cooked over charcoal too. And you got some satay. So as Ari was saying, the Dutch colonial period, that's when they would have been eating the good cuts of meat, and it would have been the Betawi people, right? Who are the indigenous to this area of Java, who would have had to have the leftovers basically, and then out of that, just like so many other parts in the world, beautiful flavors are born and still preserved to this day.
Yeah, I think that time the leftover for beef and goat goes to the Betawi, and the leftover of pork goes to the Chinese.
Just look at how beautiful that broth is. So flavorful. You can tell this is what they came up with to mask the flavor of anything else, because it's just so powerful, rich and complex, thick broth. Yum, I could just drink that. Chinatown is just never-ending street food. You have so many different things, and it is so packed with people too. This is a really bustling place. The largest Chinatown in Indonesia, and very old, very historic. You can get everything here, not just street food, but you can get, well, cooking utensils, Chinese New Year stuff, and we're gonna go into this little food court and see what we can find. So we've stumbled into this sort of food court. It's almost like a hawker center actually, and it's right in the heart of Chinatown. We spotted something we want to try. It's another fried fruit, not bananas this time, but fried Cempedak, which is a cousin, I guess you could say, of the jackfruit. So almost like a durian too. It's got a little bit of a durian-ness going on with it. And they fry it into almost like a pancake. Take a couple of different pieces of Cempedak, add some batter, and then just fry it in the oil. And then it's served like this with a side of palm sugar syrup. Yeah, like I said, it's almost like a Cempedak pancake with the syrup here. You try to go for a little dunk in that. Try that. It's really creamy on the inside. If you've never had jackfruit or Cempedak or durian, it's got a little bit of a kind of a smell to it, not as much as durian does, but it's kind of like a sour, tangy, fruity cream on the inside of a batter, and then with that palm sugar syrup, it's really sweet and good. Let's go for one more dunk in there. Actually, that's really yummy. Yeah. You can taste the Cempedak for sure. It's got a unique flavor. I don't know how to explain it. Really tangy. The weather is so hot here in Jakarta, we're starting to lose our minds. We're gonna take a little bit of a break, find some AC, cool off, and digest a little bit. We've eaten so much already. Yeah, that's good though, really good. So we're back out after our break. We've come to have Nasi Ulam. Ulam. And what is it?
Ulam meaning salad.
Salad, okay.
Fresh veggie. So this is like the Betawi rice salad.
Rice salad.
This is like 150 years old dish
Okay.
from all time. So they have incorporated Betawi culture, Chinese culture, and also Dutch culture.
Right.
The stew,
Yep.
samur, came from the word, the Dutch word smur.
Okay.
So that time the Dutch only use beef, but the Betawi they put egg, tofu, potatoes,
Okay, yeah.
and then all the crunchiness.
Yeah, from those
From-
crackers.
Yes, the crackers.
As
and then
usual.
the lalap meaning the fresh veggie,
Yeah.
and some pounded peanuts. That's
Peanuts,
the
yeah.
oriental part.
So you pick all your different toppings.
Yeah.
We had like a bunch of different things to select,
beef
but
jerky.
I went with beef jerky,
Dendeng.
the dendeng, this right here, and then also went with tofu and an omelet somewhere hiding in
Yeah,
there.
here.
There is rice underneath all of that. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, very similar to what we had this morning, but different flavors. It looks similar because everything's just topped with the crackers here. But let's try.
And then they pour the broth. Yep, the broth made from.
Jerky. It's got a nice kind of chewiness. The rice is completely smothered in that broth with the Dutch influence. What kind of Dutch influence are we talking here?
So that the dish is smor. It's like a Dutch stew. But here we put kecap manis, we put cinnamon, we put cloves, so many other spices added to the s'more. It's like a braised beef supposed to be. But
it's
here
really good.
we use cheaper ingredients like tofu,
Yeah.
like egg, like potatoes.
It's really full of flavor. You can see it just has soaked the rice is. It's like a stew of rice almost down there. And then with those fresh herbs on top. What is that? It's like a lemon basil?
Yeah, lemon
Basil, yeah.
Daun kemangi. Kemangi.
Really interesting here in Indonesia. They mix rice and noodles together
Yeah.
in one dish. I don't know if I've ever seen
All the
that
carbs.
anywhere else before. Interesting. So always keep your eye out on the table in Indonesia. There's going to be some sort of sambal, spicy sauce. Put some on this omelet here and try that. This is really, really good actually. Super satisfying, full of flavor. Yeah, it gives it some heat. I love that lemon basil in there. It's so fresh though. So far today we've had pretty much exclusively street food. I think like no one has had an actual restaurant, just a little stall on the side of the road. Even that guy wasn't there earlier when we walked past this part of town. He just rolled up and he's just selling his nasi ulam now. We're heading for something a little bit more Chinese next, some bak me, some noodles. So I've got my bowl of bak me, some noodles, meat noodles, is chicken noodles, and just a little bit of greens. Super simple. Let's try. It's good. It's like a dry noodle though, because you serve the soup on the side, so you can just kind of let some of that soup in there because it's kind of salty. And also got some of this mystery sambal. Add that generously. Let's see if that gives it a little bit more flavor. I'm sure it will. It's super salty. Simple bowl of noodles. You can find bak me all throughout Chinatown. It's one of the top things you've got to try. This one's good, but maybe not my favorite. Not the best bak mi I've ever had, but that's okay. We've been on a pretty good roll today, so it's pretty reasonable to have one that's not top notch. I'm gonna take you to probably my favorite place in Glodok in Chinatown for fried dumplings. I've actually filmed it before, but since we're here, I figured we might as well go have some. So this spot is legendary here in Chinatown. It's called Santong Kuotie 68. And like I said, I've been here before. Things look to be pretty much the same, except they didn't have a monkey chained up out front the last time I was here. Kind of sad to see that, to be honest, but the dumplings here are legendary. They fry them in a flame. They're flaming dumplings. So Kuotie, they're kind of like pot stickers or gyoza. And I've got a plate of 10 of them here, and then the sauce, he just came over and actually made the sauce up for me. It's like a chili with sesame oil and garlic. And these are probably gonna be burning hot, but let's try one anyway. These are some of the best dumplings ever. So juicy. They've got, I think, a little bit of bean sprout in there, because it's got a bit of a crunch too. And they're making them up fresh constantly, just constantly making batches of them and then frying them in a ton of oil. They're quite greasy, definitely, but wow, it goes so good with this sauce. A little garlicky, yum. Yum. Just as good as I remember them being. You get a little crunch on the bottom, but they've still got all that juice contained inside. Yeah. This is probably my #1 pick here in Chinatown for non-halal. We had a good mix of both today. Obviously these are filled with pork. Really good though, really good. Really good dumplings. I totally recommend that restaurant, other than the fact that they've chained up a monkey out front, which I feel really bad, but at least they were giving him some dumpling wrappers. Anyway, really good dumplings, and yeah, that's my guide to Chinatown, Glodok here in Jakarta. You can find the information for all the places we visited down below. We ate a ton of food today, and thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you guys in the next episode of Chopstick Travel. Bye.